The Red Dirt D&D podcast is brought to you by Pro Laser Cuts. The Oklahoma company provides pre-made and customizable design laser cut dice towers, tokens, and more, developed by a gamer for gamers, and now available to enhance your tabletop game. Pro Laser Cuts products can be found at many Oklahoma City area game stores, local events, and now available online at prolasercuts.com. That's laser and cuts with a Z, Pro Laser Cuts. And by SD Way Gaming, where dice goblins unite. Our friends at SD Way Gaming celebrate the beautiful dice players handpick for their games and splendor. SD Way Gaming has expanded to include many tabletop gaming varieties, accessories, and similar fun necessities to include a service for your dice addiction. You can shop for a variety of products at sdwaygaming.com or find SD Way Gaming on Facebook.
Welcome to Red Dirt D&D. My name is Johnny Payne, and I play the half-elf roguish warlock Zonimus, who's going to take back everything he's ever lost.
I'm Konnor Shenold. I play Konnor with a K, the Kobold Sorcerer, who's a continuous thorn in the Empire's side.
I'm Kiri Hester, and I play Poppy Tealeaf, a halfling druid determined to protect the wilds of the frontier from the might of the Empire.
I'm Brooke Bullock, and I play Mokrin Stoneshaper, a young dwarf sorcerer finding his true family as revealed by the secrets of the frontier.
And I'm Ash King, your dungeon master. Join us now for Tales from the Callband Frontier. For the past few days, you have been privy to a community in mourning. The death of Gideon Block and his final decision to give dusk her due, to fade into the eternal twilight, has left a hole in your lives in many ways. But today is the final part of that process. Today, the Elven tribe and Wildheart who returned commit his body to the earth. You all are welcomed to come and to observe as they lower his shrouded form down into a grave.
I'm going to stand there and reach down for Poppy's hand. Is the grave open? Mm-hmm. I'm going to take out my flask and have a sip of tea. Hand it over to Poppy.
Why, thank you. I don't feel like this time is appropriate.
For tea.
Oh, has that been tea this whole time?
It's been tea for a while.
That answers a lot of questions. Huh.
For you, maybe.
But is that Jubilee's tea?
Jubilee tea.
Okay, good. Well, sure. I know she ain't buying tea leaf tea.
Do you, pass it on, or what do you do after you drink it?
Oh, I guess. Here, Mokrin.
Yep.
I guess we're all drinking out of this flask.
It's almost this flask.
It's tea.
It's not Shiny Moon.
It's tea. It's been tea this whole time.
The whole time?
This whole time.
Would I trick you?
No. And Mokrin takes a sip of it to Gideon. He never could say my name right anyway.
Konnor grabs it from Mokrin, kind of inspects it a little bit. Just tea? All right. Finagles it around his muzzle to actually get it back. And then after that is taken care of, I scoot over to hand it to Zonimus.
I shake my head no to you and point down to Gideon.
You're gonna give it up for him?
He gave it up for much more.
That's right. True. So I screw the cap back on and I carefully place it on him.
There's a few other places where they've put either some flowers or some other, offerings to speed Gideon on his way after giving you all a few moments to say your farewells.
I crafted a posy of poppies. I just bloomed them from the earth and tucked that in next to the flask.
After giving you all a moment, they do begin to fill the grave in until it's covered over with earth and a series of stones to mark it temporarily. But at least for the elves, they've just committed a shell. They will carry the memories forever. But Eopix and Wildheart, who returned, both approach you all, and Wildheart looks at you all and gives a nod and says, "Thank you. You brought my boy home. That is all I could ever ask of you."
One of Gideon's final requests before we went into the mesa was that Thunderstep would live on and be the steed of his sister. I'm sure Thunderstep probably at this point may have made her desires known, but I wanted you to know that it was Gideon's desire as well.
I did notice the paint horse that had joined our band and was sniffing around, but to know that that was his steed, that is an honor.
She's a warrior horse. She's real good, but she's nice too. She really likes apples. I would sneak her some. Gideon said I was going to make her fat, but she works so hard, she wasn't going to gain weight from them apples, so she really likes apples.
We will see that she receives some every now and again.
His otherworldly possessions should also carry on his fight, not be put on display. I think that's how they would best honor them and his memory. So distribute them however you wish. You are his family.
She gives a nod, but does bring forth the saber and asks, "Would one of you wish to take this?"
Poppy looks around. I mean, I don't want to be, it seems, I don't...
Poppy will take the saber.
Thank you. I just don't want to be a person that, like, he just died. I don't want to... But I will do my best and wield it well, and I'll take it in hand, and I imagine that the magic that makes it change those symbols of Daga turn into a combination of poppies and She Who Weeps, and then maybe a little symbol of Daga on the end, and maybe even shortens a little bit in length just to make it a little easier for my small arms to wield. And I tie that onto my belt, and I will take my Bowie knife and tuck it into, that's gonna be Wildfire's Bowie knife.
I believe there was a rope.
Yes. We could sense the magic that it held. Is that something that you wish to take?
I wish to at least carry it to the one who gave it to him and see what they would like to have done with it.
She'll give a nod and we'll present it.
That was Reza, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, just double checking that my brain was working.
The rope of entanglement, it was a gift.
I don't leave the spot for a while, and I really don't let go of Poppy's hand.
Well, if you're not going to let go of my hand, I need to go do something. Are you going to come with me? I need to go find a bird.
I'll stick with you, Zonimus, and I'll hold out my hand for you to take.
I will take your hand, and I will join it with Poppy's. I'll be fine.
I guess we're going to go find a bird. Do you want to come with me find a bird? You can't eat the bird?
Okay, I guess I'm going with you.
The tribal people have left the part of the area. I'm going to look over, assume Makran might still be around.
Definitely still standing there for as long as possible.
And I'm just going to say to Makran as I'm walking a little bit, I thought that Gideon would be the one to teach me about loss. I just didn't know it would be like this. And I'm going to kneel down beside the pile of rocks, and I'm going to reach inside my coat, onto my shirt, and just place my hand over my heart with whatever happens to be under it, and swear on those stones that I will make him reap it.
You're knelt down so Makran can easily put his hand on your shoulder, and he gives a pledge in Dwarven that translates to, so one pledges, so we all pledge.
And I'm going to whisper, I've got you, and he will reap it. I'm going to get up and brush my hand along Makran's shoulder and walk on. I'm avoiding like his direct connection here, his mother, sister. I'm available to them if so be it, but I'm purposefully not going where they are, sitting next to them. Makran.
Yeah.
Where were those dwarves?
There's a little awkward kind of furrow of thought that comes across Makran's face, and he takes a deep breath and goes, well, Zonos, that'd be Fort Russian Water. If my sense is correct, I think it's back across the Great Mother River to the south of the encampment here. And yeah, I mean, that's where we could go if we need to. What do you got in mind?
Well, we know a lot more than we knew when we decided to not go there. What was that Fort Russian Water? Remind me, it's been so long.
Well, at Fort Russian Water, it's a dwarven outpost. There's no rail line that reaches out there. Obviously, the last stop aptly named. But it's a place out in the frontier that they're trying to use to establish a safety zone, if we might say, the way the dwarves would foresee or perceive the frontier, uncivilized, as the folks in Venturas might say. The idea then being, once you have an established zone of safety, then you could bring out more folks, it grows a little bit, and then establish a rail line.
It's out of character.
I say out of character, Johnny. I don't think we went because there wasn't really a reason for us to go once we figured out where the mesa was.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was Mesa or bust.
Yeah, because we didn't feel like Fort Rushing Water was going to advance.
You also had the urgency of you wanted to try and get the feather.
The feather.
Yeah.
We knew there was a ticking clock on that.
And then we realized all the tokens have been collected
already.
Okay.
So we didn't need to go around.
For some reason I read Fort Rushing Water had a big plot point to the Empire.
Mokrin is nervous about going there.
Yeah.
It's where outcasts go. He doesn't want to go there for some reason. We don't know why yet.
I don't really want to go south across the river.
Yeah, to go back across the river. So player chat for a second. So Mokrin's not dumb. He's just not wise. But I think
no street smarts.
We would begin to put together some things that, like, and Konnor, you tell me, one of the first times we ran into Konnor and he found out about the Temple of Nightmare, he was like, "You found the Temple of Nightmare and didn't even tell me?"
You found one of the Mighty Nine, yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. But I wonder if one of us as characters has put together the fact that we saw the black-scaled kobolds at Nightmare. We've now seen the green-scaled kobold.
Well, we have to because Seraphina said it out loud when Konnor was in his mouth. She said, "Oh, this is a brass dragon." She was talking to Gideon flippantly. Mm-hmm. She said, "This is a brass dragon. We're looking for Thundercrack. There's no way we're giving you this brass dragon to banish."
Right. So I'm wondering then if someone makes a connection. Holy smokes. Konnor the Kobold, why have you been out here? You've been looking for Nightmare from the beginning.
For Thundercrack.
But you were super interested in Nightmare's temple as well. Anyway, it seems like he should know where Thundercrack is, or at least where Thundercrack's mesa is.
We know where Thundercrack is.
Right, we know where there is too. So anyway, sorry as I take all this time to chat.
We're not sure what our next steps are.
Mokrin also has been worried, and maybe it's in the last 3 days or so it's faded away, but he's also worried about the kobolds that we left in the cages. He's not unopposed to going back to the mesa to make sure.
Raise your hand if you are unopposed of going back to where the Lich has an office. I'm opposed. Are you opposed? Does anybody else want to run into the arms of a level 17 Lich power kill?
Again, low wisdom.
So even Ash said in 69, maybe 70, that I only did enough damage to the ship that is essential to a flat tire.
Yeah.
So they would have to go back to the mesa.
They're still there.
They're still there.
We just ran away.
I mean, Brooke the player knows that for sure.
Let me give you from the DM standpoint the potentialities. Yes, you could theoretically either go down to Fort Rushing Water, which you have heard some people talk about, that there were some issues going on down there, but you've also heard from a few different sources that's also near to Dark Canyon,
where the
ghost elves are located.
Yeah.
And the ghost elves would have the most information about the frontier in general because they're spiritually connected to the frontier.
Also of note, from Avery Moore's journal, the pages you had were cataloging his journey following the Great Mother River, going somewhere close to a tribe of ghost elves. But not only that, a few days beyond the ghost elves was where he found not Thundercrack's lair, but a temple for Thundercrack.
And we saw the circle on the map.
Of course.
But was that near the river? I didn't ask.
No, that's where Wiley and Seraphina and Fortunato apparently are trying to fully locate Thundercrack's actual
where she
lair,
sleeps, her
where
apartment.
she hangs out.
So is the tribe of the ghost elves have a location of Thundercrack?
They would be most likely to.
Right.
Out of all of the options we have.
Well, but also, again, you have also been given information about a couple different Dragonborn. Not just so in the Temple of Nightmare, you ran into Black Dragonborn and Black Kobolds. In the Mesa, you ran into Green Kobolds and Green Dragonborn. You have also heard that that particular group got splintered. There are some of them who have gone off to just an area you know as the Font or the Fountain, where the rest of that particular tribe is hidden. The other thing I will also point out to you, Mokrin, you guys are actually probably a little bit closer to Fort Drybones It's kind of to the northwest of your current position.
Oh, I've got a question mark there.
That's Fort Drybones, which is another of the Dwarven forts.
So the mesa is west of where we're at now. Is the circle we saw, is that like way out west or way down south, or where was it?
Farther west,
Yeah.
farther south.
Okay.
About, for you guys, I would say it would probably be at least a 2-week journey through the literal Kalban Desert. Like we're not talking
like Death Valley.
Death Valley, yeah.
Totally
But
off topic. Name of the Dragonborn Key Guardian. What was her name?
That was Islay.
Islay, that's right. I do want to point out from the journal here, the second mural showed an image of Thundercrack receiving some sort of gift from the Sky Sisters seated on their thrones with the following words. To destroy the mighty lord, Thundercrack called upon the Sisters Three. In their cradle, a hidden door opened. The prison was crafted. The third mural showed an image of Thundercrack receiving another gift, this time from a group of birdfolk. According to my guide, they are likely Aarakocra. Beyond the hills of gold, hidden near the storm's destroyed crown, the hawk's cry resounds, teaching Thundercrack the words to speak to trap the feared lord. The fourth mural showed an image of Thundercrack bowing in supplication to see she who weeps, who extends her hand with a fourth gift. Hidden deep in the desert, the source of life carefully protected, tears of the mother preciously given to depower the dread lord. And the fifth and final mural showed Sneaky Coyote bringing Thundercrack a small jar of something, leaving a large palace whose architecture I could not recognize. It resembled no known culture I have yet encountered. The last part of the puzzle is always the trickiest to get. Cunning Coyote needed to slip past the watchman to obtain the originating spark to attune the device. It's a lot.
The ghost elves are somewhere around that fort, right?
Oh, well, yeah, but they're south, maybe Dark Canyon, which flows into the Lake of Tears. The Great Mother River takes a jog south and then cuts deep into the Dark Canyon. Are you thinking we find allies in the ghost elves?
Well, we find allies, or we verify this location that we got from their map of Thundercracks. Let's find the others.
Okay.
Because I don't want to trek out across that desert if it's a dead end, if Wiley had the wrong information.
Maybe gather everybody together.
Well, and also, that was a pretty big circle. It could take weeks to get there and then weeks to scout the area. So
we may be thinking the same thing. Let's get the others together when Poppy's done with her bird message, and then let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Okay, so Poppy has gone off in search of a bird. I'm pretty good at spotting hawks these days. It's my preferred small bird. So here's what I would like to ask Ash, because this is mostly flavor, and sometimes Ash lets me get away with flavor things if they don't break the game. Can I send a note Harry Potter style with this hawk? If it's just a tiny little piece of paper, carrier pigeon style. It's a Weedo note. Okay, so my note says, and I'm going to cast this spell at probably 5th level to make sure that it has plenty of time to get there. It can't go all the way to the last stop, but it hopefully can make it all the way to Smithson.
Oh, nice.
So I have a note. My note says, Smithson and Kikiek. The next time you go into the last stop, can you deliver this note to Yazgash? You are welcome and encouraged to read it as well. And the note said, Yazgash, it pains me to tell you this, but Gideon has faded into twilight. Dusk comes for us all eventually, and Gideon is no different. He was a great warrior who died with his boots on and his sword in hand. I know that Gideon will live on in the winds and the stones of the earth as long as those who knew him remember him. So please remember him. Love dearly, Poppy. So I would like to roll that up on a little tiny scroll and roll it up on the hawk's leg and then send him off to go find Smithson, which is hopefully less than 7 days away.
Yeah, from Jasper to the Elven camp, it was only about 4 days.
So Konnor was here and I said, hey, this is a letter, and here, watch me do some cool magic stuff. And so I remember that I'm small, and hawks, although smaller than giant eagles, still big. So a hawk on my arm is my size of a beast. I really could leave him on the ground and just look him in the eye, really. And I give him his note, and I say, fly well, fly strong. You'll find Kikiek and Smithson. It's a kooky-looking dwarf and a super awesome bird man, so watch out for the dust storms.
The magic settles over this hawk, and there's that glint of power in its eyes, that lets you know the spell has taken hold. And the bird, with a screech, opens up its wings and takes off.
Greetings and salutations, my friends. I'm Michael Cross. So great to have a moment to talk with you during this mid-show break. First off, I want to invite you all to join us as Patreon members. The money we raise helps us pay for things like the music and sound effects you hear on the show, as well as money to go to events and make new fans. When you become a Patreon member, you get our episodes 4 days early, bonus content, access to our Discord server, and full versions of our roundtable discussions. You'll be joining other fans like Scott Wise, Don Mills, Heath Mormon, and the Lady Kate. So join us right now at patreon.com/reddirtdnd. Another way to support us is by getting your very own Red Dirt merchandise. You can find things like hats, hoodies, mugs, and t-shirts. Just click on the merch tab at reddirtdnd.com or reddirtrpg.com. Since 2020, the Red Dirt D&D podcast has been close to another Oklahoma actual play Dungeons & Dragons podcast, D20 to Curtain. And me personally, I've had a chance to work on stage with some of the actors on the show. So when you get done with this episode, you should check them out.
Hello, fellow D&Ders. My name is Jerome.
I'm Jennifer. I'm Jody.
And together with our friends Kara, Timothy, and Jared, we are the cast of the D20 to Curtain podcast, where Oklahoma theater geeks and their friends hit record and explore our new addiction to Dungeons & Dragons.
We think D&D is more than just a game. It helps us tap into the enduring power of storytelling.
We combine live gameplay with behind-the-curtain episodes to share our experiences, insights, habits, discoveries, and passion for D&D with anyone who will listen.
We hope D20 to Curtain will make you laugh, cry, maybe even make your experience at your table even more satisfying. Check us out anywhere you listen to podcasts or visit us at d20tocurtain.com or at D20 to Curtain on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
We look forward to having you. All we ask is that you have fun, be kind, and play the role.
If you're looking for more content, make sure to check out our YouTube page with Mysteries of Beatrix live every Wednesday. Keys from the Golden Vault from the Red Dirt Outlaws dropping every Tuesday at noon, and Plausible Deniability every other Thursday at 7 p.m. So come check it out at youtube.com/@RedDirtRPG or search for Red Dirt RPG on YouTube. And we would love to hear from you. Find us on social media at Red Dirt RPG. You can also get in touch with us through our website at reddirtrpg.com. In the meantime, make sure and subscribe to this podcast and leave a comment on your favorite podcatcher so others can find us. All right, I think that's everything I need to tell you. Right now, let's head back to Red Dirt D&D.
So, once you cast your animal messenger, Poppy, and you've sent your hawk on its way, Zonimus and Makran, you two have been discussing things a little bit, but I would say likely at this point, the four of you would meet back up at the tent that the elves have loaned you all to stay in for a while. You're noticing the camp around you really does seem to be picking up steam in terms of getting everything ready to go, so you guys probably have another few hours here before you need to make your decision as far as what you're going to do.
We haven't looked at those pages from the Amour's journal in a while. Maybe we could get an idea from there, because we're going to have to fight Fortunato, but obviously we're not strong enough to do that at this current juncture. So we either going to have to find a way to fight him or outwit him, and I don't feel like we're prepared to do either right now. So I'm hoping maybe something in that journal will give us an idea of where we could maybe find some knowledge.
I think we need to warn Thundercrack, and I think along the way, pick up any help we can in the form of knowledge, items, foiling their plans.
Konnor, I don't want to be too nosy, but Seraphina lady, she seemed awful interested in your connection with Thundercrack as a brass kobold. Just, I'm asking you to be super honest with us. You got any ideas how we could find her next?
Konnor takes a moment and doesn't really hesitate, but pauses for a bit and kind of taps his finger against his chin and eventually gives a shrug. And nothing's really coming to mind, unfortunately.
Any idea why she was so very interested in you?
Well, there's this thing where it's like every Kobold dragonborn is connected to the dragon that they're colored of, but...
Oh, like we seen black dragons at Nightmare.
Yeah, but that's just what you all smooth skins assume.
So, if that's what we assume, what's the reality? Why was she so interested in you? Because I'll tell you what, her skin may have been smooth, but she was nothing like any of us.
Maybe she thought I could find Thundercrack for her.
Insight check on our friendly neighborhood kobold.
All right, hold on.
Konnor, give me a deception.
Yep.
Zamas, give me an insight.
That's a natural one.
Would you like to use fate chips? I believe you should still have some.
I do. I got to because I've been having this theory quite a while about...
I will accept your fate chip to do a reroll.
Can you cast guidance on
Does
yourself?
Konnor want to use a fate chip?
I mean, I can cut.
There you go.
Okay,
Now I'll see how this one goes.
boom.
Ooh.
Yeah.
23 versus Konnor.
An
your deception.
11.
An 11.
So, yeah, there's very obviously something that Konnor's still keeping very close to his chest.
Whenever you're ready, Konnor. Whenever you're ready to tell us the truth.
I kind of...
Just make sure it's not too late.
I know what I'm doing. Just trust in me a little longer.
So I'm going to go through Gideon's bag and put aside some of the more sentimental things. Like I'm sure he has like, you know, a drawing of Karen and Caleb in there. Those kinds of things. Empty out his bag. Hand the journal pages to Zonimus. Empty out all of the personal things, but I mean I can leave in like his rations or rope. Konnor, I know you gave up a lot in your attempt to take down the ship. I'm sorry it didn't work out the way, and it seemed like you expected that to be a little more bigger than it was, but it was still really big. I want you to know you look really cool falling off of that ship. It was a sight to behold.
About the only thing I could do at that time.
But I know that you had to leave your backpack behind, and so I feel like maybe this would be... We can shorten the straps for it if you need to, but I feel like this could work out for you. And give Konnor Gideon's backpack for your new backpack.
Significantly larger than I am.
Hey, give me a needle and thread, and we can just fix that right on up. There are many things that I learned in my lessons that weren't useful, but tailoring is useful.
Makrin's leaning over there by Zonimus. So what are we seeing there? Is there anything that more said about Thundercrack?
The font isn't in the pages, right?
No, did not mention that.
Okay.
Although that might be something if you wanted to ask Eopix might know.
Because I think that's who told us the first
Right.
time.
We do have to remember he is also a ghost elf.
Yep. And 5,000
Eopix
years
is a
old.
ghost elf?
How is he looking?
I'm an idiot.
Congratulations, guys.
Is he significantly weaker, or is it the same?
He's still about on the same level. It's been about a week since he's lost the feather. And again, it's a fairly slow decline. There's not a sudden drop off of, you know, he's doing great, and then, oh, look, he's dead.
Right.
The ghost elves, yeah. All right, we've all looked through these pages more than once.
Right.
Starting to get a little weather worn by now.
Where is... Oh, wow. Has anyone seen Eopix?
I mean, he was standing next to you at the funeral, but...
All right, yeah, let's bring him in.
We probably don't have to look real hard. It's a small camp. He's probably helping some people pack some things up.
Yeah, just gonna lean out the tent flap and see if I see him.
So they're gathering things up and getting them lashed to these various sledges that will be eventually tied to the horses so that they can be pulled. But yeah, you do see him as he's assisting in that process.
I'll shout Abil. Abil! Wave him over. Abil is friend and dark elf.
Proud of you.
He takes his leave and approaches over.
I'll just hold the flap open for him.
Step in. What can I do for you?
Makrin, you have that. You have the map.
Right here.
Eopix, I don't know, we have reason to believe that the lair of Thundercrack would be located in this specific area here, and I'll circle around my finger.
I think it's about 2 weeks west and south, but it does look like, according to the journal and what they said earlier, it's across a pretty treacherous stretch of desert, really.
That I don't doubt.
You ever flown out that way?
In my younger days, perhaps. The farther west you went, the farther into Empire-controlled territory you were. But I would think, as Thundercrack is the mistress of the desert, she would lair somewhere out there.
This is a big circle. You think maybe your people would know how to narrow this down?
I've not been among them for some time, but the matrons may know. It's difficult. The dragons always kept their lairs well guarded. That's why they had the temples. They would meet with supplicants at the temple, but their lairs would be hidden somewhere else.
Do you think if we found the temple and went to the temple that we would have any better chance of, like, I don't know, would she hear us? I don't know what dragon powers are, I'm gonna be honest. I'm in over my head here.
It's one of those things very few know what exactly the dragons are capable of.
Well, let me ask you this. How do your people feel about outsiders?
Very wary.
Not likely to trust us, huh?
I have been away from them for so long that they likely wouldn't even recognize me as one of their own.
Are you familiar with and I'm going to start quoting these pages without actually pulling them, and the gifts that were given to create the cage, to hold the Lord? These tales you've heard before?
He narrows his eyes a little bit. Well, that does sound similar to what happened in the fight against the Empire and the fight against Cimarron. We learned that, unlike a mortal, Cimarron cannot be killed. So Thundercrack brought a ritual to seal him away. He was weakened severely, and then Thundercrack performed some ritual that sealed him away.
Would it be out of the ordinary? Would it be unthinkable that someone who wasn't involved in any of that so long ago would have any knowledge of this ritual? Or any of these allied forces coming together to help out with the ritual? What I'm looking for is, would this knowledge gain favor with your people?
It's been so long that I doubt that would be a way to open conversation. The best way to get into the favor of the Ghost Elves is to do something for the Ghost Elves. Provide some help, some assistance, something tangible that they can see and they can trust. They rarely trust words. They trust deeds.
What can you tell me about the font? I'll hold the map up.
The font you will find to the north of here. It's one of the few springs, and not just that, it was said to hold incredible healing properties, which was why it was a protected place.
And it is...
To the north, does that move it up into the mountains by Fort Drybones?
So, okay, we went in the Temple of Nightmare, and those Dragonborn and Kobolds were in kind of a stasis situation while they're waiting on Nightmare to wake up, right? So the priestess and all of those things, those guys were, in our years, like really old. They've been there for a long, long time. I wonder if the Temple of Thundercrack has some similar priestesses and stuff that might also be really old and have helpful information. I don't know.
One does wonder such things.
Yeah, we do. It's a curious conundrum. We'll have to go there and check out, see what's up.
So the font, yes, biopics.
Healing properties.
To the north of here.
But not as far north as the mountains.
No, I would say it's not quite. It is closer to that particular dwarven fort up there, yes.
I think we go to Fort Russian Water, and I think that the gods are going to carry us from Fort Russian Water into the welcoming arms of the Ghost Elves, who are then going to help us pinpoint the location of the Temple of Thundercrack. What do you think?
I like the idea of allies. And I gotta also say, I've been pretty impressed with the elves out here in the wilderness. You look at their funeral rites, returning them to the earth, and the sense of their community. They got a lot more in common with dwarves than any dwarves ever thought of.
You know, there are also a couple of elves out here that'll turn on you faster than you imagine.
I say my vote's for the ghost elves. Konnor, what do you think? Go south?
I'm not sure.
So maybe this will help. Biopics, apparently there's some problems at Fort Rushing Water.
I don't doubt that.
The
dwarves have an unfortunate habit of forcing themselves upon the frontier. So it's possible If there's a disturbance down there and it is something between the ghost elves and the dwarves, it is perhaps possible the dwarves may have done something to earn the ghost elves' ire.
I think the dwarves would welcome us more easy than the ghost elves would.
So then we turn on the dwarves to help the ghosts.
We don't turn on the dwarves. We help them see the error of their ways and come to a resolution that is beneficial to all, except for maybe the dwarves.
I don't know if we got time for all that.
Very
What are we rushed into if we don't have time for that? I'm really, it's a question.
We also don't have,
Last time we didn't have time for something, we rushed to a mesa, we weren't ready for it.
Right.
Patience has been preached ever since that day.
You did some damage. They're down and out for, not indefinitely, but for a while. You bought us some time by blowing up, a heckin' portion.
If time is against us, is there anything that you could do to help us travel faster when it comes down to the wire? Not right now, but when it comes down to, oh my God, we got to get to the middle of the desert.
If you had a sky ship, perhaps.
Or if we had some flying horses.
Even a longboat could be useful.
Well, you know what? I wish we had decided this before I sent that note off to Smithson. I could have asked him some questions.
Oh, you got somebody who has a longboat? If you could find a flight crystal and a longboat, you'd be in business.
Well, see, the problem here is we don't have no flight crystal. We'd have to sneak back into the mesa, sneak around, probably get deader, and then sneak back out to get a flat crystal.
If you did it in the right way, or...
I like the way he thinks.
I have heard that there have been... Hold on, give me that map again. There was a mine. Yes, it was just to the south of the Lake of Tears. It makes a mark on your map. If you could find that mine, you could probably find flight crystal.
Do you want us to say hi to Strom if we're in the neighborhood? Because he lives down there.
If you see him and if he still lives.
Yeah, that's the big question.
Well, you look pretty okay. I'm optimistic.
That sounds like a better plan to do first, so we have an easier way to travel.
Since time is going to be pushing on us, as always, we should head to the mines, help Jasper get his ship.
See if you can head down to Fort Rushing Water, because you may be able to finagle something to help you travel faster down the river.
I read a book once by a guy named Huckleberry Finn, and that's what he did.
I would say to the fort, and then on to the mine.
Red Dirt D&D, Tales from the Caliban Frontier, is Ash King as our Dungeon Master, Brooke Bullock as Mokran Stoneshaper, Johnny Payne as Zonimus Dinar, Kiri Hester as Poppy Tealeaf, and Konnor Shenold as Konnor the Kobold. Our theme music was created by the cinemagician P.J. Castillo. Our incidental music comes from Jeffrey McBride. Our sound effects and additional music courtesy of Monument Studios, Andrew Sitkoff, and TabletopAudio.com. We here at Red Dirt D&D could really use your help in getting the word out about us. If you like what you've heard, make sure to rate us and leave a comment. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and RedDirtDND.com. Tell your friends about Red Dirt D&D and share us on social media. And we have new content on our Twitch channel at twitch.tv/RedDirtDND. And check us out on our YouTube page. Just search Red Dirt D&D. You can also support the show at patreon.com/RedDirtDND. We have several giving levels, including early listening to shows and access to our Discord server. Join us next time as we go deeper into the Caliban Frontier.
All right, and kind of finagles it around his muzzle to actually get it back.
Do you not have lips?
I don't know.
Maybe kind of tilted on the side between two teeth.
You just kind of have to waterfall it.
Yeah.
This is one of the great debates in the world,
Kobold anatomy.
Do kobolds have lips?
I put it in a little bowl and I start lapping it up.
the old West insult. You're about as useless as lips on a chicken.
The rope of entanglement. It was a gift.
Reads a brave star.
Now, if it takes us a long time to get back to her and ask her what she wants to do with it, that's okay. I'll find something to do with it.
It's only because they didn't have manacles.
What was that? Where did that come from?
I will take your hand, and I will join it with Poppy's.
You do like a awkward, like, you know when someone hands over the bride and they like awkwardly hand over the hands? That's what I pictured.
We're married now, Curie. Sorry.
If only my father knew, he'd be so mad. I didn't actually say I was giving a bird message, just that I was looking for a bird.
There's one.
I'm not looking for that kind of bird, Johnny.
The title of episode 71, Poppy flips the bird.
Poppy gets the bird.
Okay, so Ash, let me ask you this.
Bird's the word?
In the Animal Messenger spell, it doesn't specifically state what kind. So, like, in the message spell, it says you have, like, 20 words or whatever. I imagine it's kind of a Harry Potter situation where you give it a letter, because it just says you give it a message. Most birds can't talk. Hawks
Have you ever watched Magicians on Sci-Fi? They have rabbits that bounce from one world to another, and they're messenger rabbits. And so it's like
everyone's gonna die.
Everyone's gonna die. Bring beer. And so all of a sudden, someone's like, "Do you hear scratching?" And they like open a cabinet, and a rabbit just hops out and goes, "Everyone's gonna die. Bring beer." What did he say? And it just keeps repeating itself.
That seems like a jackalope situation.
Yeah. So you speak a message of up to 25 words.
25 words. I didn't see. Why is it always, listen, when you're looking for something, you don't see it.
Sentence.
You were so focused on how far it could go that you didn't focus on.
I scanned it. I just didn't listen. It's they should not. Here's what actually got me, friends. On D&D Beyond, they have grammatically, numbers over 10, we write in numeric form, not in word form. They have every number in here in numeric form, except for that one. The 25 words is written in letter form, and so my eyes did not see the number.
D&D, get on the AP style guide.
So,
Oxford comma.
From Jasper to the Elven camp, it was only about 4 days.
I'm just giving the hog lots of time to take union breaks. I hear that they've unionized. And
even the Hawks have unionized.
Yep. See what you started?
The kobolds they've sent out the word. The birds are in on the word.
The bird is the word.
The bird is the word.
The bird has the word.
The bird has many words.
If I hear the word bird one more time,
so I'm gonna turn into a bird. I mean, I can leave in like his rations or rope, like his regular rope, the regular done whatever.
Like his handkerchief and his Stetson cologne. You're gonna set it out.
The pomade.
And it's just a natural landmark, right? I don't trust natural landmarks that are named after real things.
Huh?
The pillars.
I mean, that wasn't the Pillars' fault that worms lived there.
Oh yeah, that's what happened at the pillars.
Well, I mean, it wasn't the Pillars' fault that Jubilee led anarchy there either. The Pillars
that's what happened at the pillars.
Wait, are you talking about the sneaky Coyote shrine?
You son of a...
Oh my gosh! Oh, that's why he was so strong there. That's why you got knocked. Oh.
See, I was just helping.
Oh, son of a gun.
Hold on, give me that map again.
With all my
Alex, do you know somewhere where we might find a flat crystal?
Here's our third option.
They grow in this garden to the east.
Wouldn't that be great? The tree's only guarded by a super big serpent thing. It's fine.
Just like something that Hydra.
It's just a golden fleece situation.
You're wearing a golden fleece, honey. I mean, you are.
Mighty Aldonza.
It's a hide more than a fleece. And do you know how tickled Smithson would be if we could fly his boat? He'd just be happier than a cat in a rat barn. It sounds better in halfling, I promise.
Okay. I think everything sounds better in its original language.